because aside from all the talks that we've had, just talking to people face to face, I think it's been great. It really, there's nothing better than talking to everybody in person rather than over emails and things. So it's been a great event so far this morning. So I'm from University for the Creative Arts. We are an arts university spread across 4 campuses in the southeast of England. And we're very, very lucky there because we have a digitisation unit, a dedicated digitisation unit. And primarily we support students. We have large format scanners, photography equipment, darkroom calibrated screens, encoders for video transfer. And that's all available to students to use Monday to Friday, completely free of charge. As well as providing that service, we also run Access Digital. Access Digital is a commercial enterprise, and we digitise for museums, galleries, archives, all sorts of organisations. And the idea of that is that we bring in a commercial revenue to the university, but we also offer we offer internships to students. So we offer opportunities for them to come, gain some employability skills, get contact with industry, and basically get ready for real life out in the real world. So what I wanted to do today was just share some experiences from a university working with external museums and archives, and some of the sort of mutual benefits that we've had. And what seems to be a theme today is collaboration. And I put collaboration taking a leap of faith, because for me that really was what it was. Prior to joining Access Digital, I was a cataloguer in the library. And being a cataloguer, for any of you out there who are cataloguers, I worked very much on my own, very obsessively, and wouldn't trust anybody else to catalogue something that I didn't catalogue, and worked, yes, in quite a singular way. So when I joined Access Digital in 2011, I had to collaborate with students, I had to collaborate with customers, with experts in industry, and it really was a leap of faith to sort of trust others to do things. But the benefits that came out of that collaboration far outweighed the risks involved, if you want to call it risks. So what I wanted to do was illustrate 2 examples of this, of the mutual benefit and the kind of unexpected outcomes that we've experienced at Access Digital. So the first example is the Zandra Rhodes Digital Study Collection. Fashion designer Zandra Rhodes, she had an archive of about, I think I'm right in saying 700 dresses, sketchbooks, watercolours, that she wanted to make accessible for educational purposes. And this was a JISC-funded project. And because she wanted them to be an educational resource, that's why she came to us at Access Digital, because we were aligned to the university. And Access Digital took on the digitisation of the sketchbooks, which Zandra called the Star Bibles, and we got involved in the project from there. And just out of note of interest, so on the right, I think Bianca Jagger wore one of these outfits on the front of the Sunday Times, and on the left, I think Debbie Harry wore one of these Blondie, one of those outfits. But they're fantastic images. So again, another sketch from the Star Bibles that we digitised. This project had various challenges, one of which was, well, the main one was that Zandra Rhodes wouldn't let any of the sketchbooks leave her studio. She was most definite about that. So the Access Digital team had to relocate for a week to her studio. But it was a fantastic opportunity. We went up into her studio, met Zandra Rhodes, which, how many times do you really get to do something like that? So it was incredible. And down on the bottom right is Polly Christie, my colleague Lisa, in the studios digitising the collections. Once we digitised the collections on site, back at base, back at our digitisation unit. We then approached student interns to do the post-production of the images so that they gained experience working on this collection. And it was great for the intern that did it, Angela. She could put working on such a prestigious collection onto her CV, so that was a fantastic experience for her. And she also got involved. We took the images that we did and made digital books with Turning the Pages software, which are probably, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Turning the Pages software, but she got experience of using that software. And so I thought I'd just show you the end product so you can see if this works. Okay. And so we host this for Zandra Rhodes. The university hosts all these Bibles, Star Bibles, and they're available for our students, but they're available globally for anybody to use. And you probably see. And it was fantastic to see her thought processes, where she got her ideas from, just a great resource. Okay. So that was just the first project I wanted to sort of talk to you about, where it kind of illustrated that mutual benefit for Zandra Rhodes and for our students getting that opportunity. The second project I was just going to talk about was for the Museum of English Rural Life, which is based at the University of Reading. They have the largest collection of resources relating to Samuel Beckett, the playwright, Nobel Prize-winning playwright and novelist. They had a lot of their resources on obsolete formats, which was an issue. They were deteriorating, they were inaccessible for their researchers, and it was a huge problem for them. And so what we got involved in was digitising microcassettes. They had 161 of these microcassettes that contained interviews with the family, friends of Samuel Beckett, an incredible resource, but like I say, inaccessible. And it was James and Elizabeth Knowlson. They were lecturers at the university. They gathered all of these interviews in the 80s and the 90s. And this is lovely Lorna in the digitisation unit, digitising the microcassettes. What was fantastic about this project was, at the time, we had a creative writing course in about the second year of it being run, and they got wind of the fact that we had this collection and we were digitising it. And they asked Museum of English Rural Life if they could have access to it. The course leader, Craig, he asked could he have access to it to use in his classroom for educational, because they had a whole module that they did around Beckett. Museum of English said yes, they were happy. We supervised it in Access Digital, but he was given permission to do that. And leading on from that, again, a benefit I never thought had happened, he's now going on to write a research paper around this collection. So it really did have benefits, not just for us, with our students getting access to this, but also for Museum of English Rural Life promoting this collection through his research paper that he's working on currently. So yeah, that was a fantastic project. And then the second kind of snippet, so collaboration was really the first snippet, but the second snippet is keeping things simple, which sounds really obvious, but in the digitisation unit, like I say, we're lucky. We've got lots of expensive equipment. We've got a professional photographer who's got incredible expertise. We're very, very lucky. But some of what we do is very easy to replicate and easy to do. I wanted to show you, moving on from what Adam was talking about, whether this is a familiar sight to any of you, if, like you were saying, boxes and boxes of cassettes under your table or tucked away somewhere, which you really don't know what to do with. And I kind of brought some props to show you. Like we were talking in the break about a cassette player. If you can get your hands on one, fantastic. Jack lead, £3 off Amazon. Laptop with some software. You can get open source software that can digitize sound. It is doable. It is achievable. It's very time consuming, that's the thing. So this, like I say, this is easy to set up if you've got volunteers, interns who have got some basic knowledge, which in our experience they do have that, and sometimes they come in and God, they overwhelm us with the amount of IT experience they have and knowledge. This is very easy to set up for yourselves. But a time-consuming process. So I just wanted to show you that. And really, the last sort of bit of advice I wanted to was utilising the advice that's out there. There is so much online to make use of. And we sort of, it amazes me how much is freely accessible if you can just kind of know the places to look. So I just wanted to share with you some links. I think this is going to be available afterwards, so you can revisit this. But I'll just share really what I utilise. So big shout out Just Digital Media. I don't know where I'd be without Just Digital Media. I'm thinking of sending Christmas cards quite soon because I get in touch with them so often. But if you're a museum and you're affiliated to a university, basically if you've got a .ac.uk email address, you can make use of the help desk, just help desk, for any kind of digitisation queries you might have. But equally, if you're not, the top link is advice on pretty much everything. I mean, the latest thing was the file format info kit that was released, which is amazing, gives really thorough guidance on best practice and things like that. So that top link, freely available, I definitely recommend looking at it. Collections Trust has amazing resource there at that URL. National Archives, I've been in touch with National Archives just more recently, and they do have a general inquiries email address, and they're happy to take on any kind of digitisation queries. They're happy to use what advice they, what experience they have to try and help people. So they asked me today to say that, to get in touch. Don't be afraid to get in touch. And then I just put Stanley Services. This is a resource I've been looking at more recently. We've been looking at digitising U-matic, VHS, lossless capture now. We were talking earlier about whether that's going to be something that's going to be going to happen in the next kind of 5-10 years. Stanley Services, they are my sort of go-to people for obsolete format players, U-matics, VHS. If you've got any kind of advice about cinefilm, digitising it, they are a fantastic place to just give them a call. They have so much knowledge. And then I was just going to talk very briefly about kind of copyright. For anybody who hasn't seen copyrightuser.org, again, I would recommend going to this URL. They have a whole section dedicated to archiving, preservation, the exceptions. We talked earlier about new preservation exceptions, dedicated terminal that's come in, the new exception. So you can do more. It is definitely, like we were saying this morning, utilise these exceptions. That's what they're there for. And then something that we do occasionally is we get in touch with Naomi Korn, which probably quite a few of you have heard of, Naomi Korn's copyright consultancy. And what I tend to do over sort of a 6-month period, I collect all of my kind of copyright queries that I have that I'm struggling with, and then I do a Skype call with her. She charges for the service, but if you can kind of cram as much as you possibly can and just talk to her on a Skype for an hour, you can really make use of that time and get a lot of advice from her. And that was it. And I was just going to say, if you want to get in touch with us, with me, I'm more than happy to pass on any kind of advice, experience that we've had, and we're on Twitter and the website as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. We have